Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to be here. I am so excited to have this conversation with you, chat with you. If you have seen the title, then you will know that we are pregnant and I'm currently growing this wonderful, beautiful blessing in my tummy. First thing I'm going to say is this is a positive first trimester story. Lloyd may say otherwise, but I do say if I could live that first trimester again, I would a million times. I know when you first find out you're pregnant, you want to see a lot of positive stuff and kind of flood yourself with positive stuff as well. That would be my first piece of advice, but I do have to just state that we may be touching on triggering subjects such as emetophobia, body dysmorphia. I'll pop a little list in the bio, in the comment section. I don't know, it'll be below. So just give this a pause now, read through that and make sure you are good to go. Okay, if you have read through that, then grab a drink, grab a snack, and let's get chatting first trimester. I've been recording and re-recording and talking like, because there's a lot before we fell pregnant that I didn't know if I wanted to speak on. Because it's really raw, it's a lot. So I think I'm just going to stick with just chatting about this pregnancy and the first trimester on here, because I don't know if I want to revisit that kind of place because I'm in such a good mindset. So yeah, I'm going to stick to just chatting about finding out and all of that and this period of my life. Okay, so first symptoms. Now, I think any women watching can relate of when you are trying, you symptom spot, you drive yourself crazy, you're taking tests from 4 DPO and you're like looking online, did anyone get a positive at 5 DPO, 6 DPO? You're counting down the days. Like, so for me, I tried for this cycle to kind of just be rather than checking on every single thing, because I had faced that disappointment. So I just tried as hard as I could, and it's so hard to not think, oh, my boobs are hurting a bit more. Like, no, Eden, just get through this month, like stay positive, stay happy, focus on your work, focus on all of that. And then, I don't know if you guys remember, but I posted a TikTok crying about how much I love my dogs. Hysterically crying. I was like, no, this is just hormones, like, don't look into it too much. I didn't talk about it much this month. I was just like, because when I'd been trying the month before, I just drove my family crazy. Like, I'll be honest with you, I spoke about it every single day. I was like, oh, I'm craving this. Like, it actually makes me a bit upset, so I'm not going to speak about that, but like, you just convince yourself. So this month I was just like, I'm not talking to anyone about it. I'm not even going to mention it, nothing. And me and Freya were walking around Bedbury. And I said, this time next year, I might be walking around with my baby. Oh my God, it's going to make me cry. I'm so excited. We're fine. So we were walking around Bedbury and I said that. And then I thought, like, I think I am. But I didn't say it. I was just like, okay, all of this. But yeah, that crying video. And then I woke up one morning and Lloyd, this is a emetophobia trigger warning, and there's going to be a lot of them. But yeah, I'm hoping you'll be okay with this. If you know Lloyd, he's got a very, very bad gag reflex. So I think he was like brushing his teeth or something led Lloyd to really retch. Like, he was really retching. And I was awake and I was like, oh, I'm feeling a bit retchy. And I thought, oh my God, no. I was like, no, like, I can't, no, it's not, no, stop it, Eden, you're only 8 DPO, like, just chill. But then people have had positives at 8 DPO. This is how my brain's going, right? So then Lloyd goes out. He was going to a few places. I think he was going to, like, get his hair done. He was going to be out for a little while, okay? But when he's out, I'm going to do a test. So he went out and I got my first response. You know, like, that's like, okay, we are testing, you know, I'm not using my, what's it called, pre-mum things. That pre-mum app, amazing for tracking ovulation, by the way. But yeah, I'm not using those little HCG strips. We are going for the big dog. We're going for a first response. And I'd seen so many videos of other people getting those positives on there and I just never had one. So I was really apprehensive. It was like the morning time and I thought, okay, when I had this positive moment, that I'd just be sure, and I'd just be like, yeah, like floods of tears, like that video that everyone gets where it's like, like, you know? No. I looked at this test and I'm holding it up and I'm so sure I can see a second line. I was like, oh my God. But you kind of convince yourself it's not, because you want to just like let yourself down gently. You know, you don't want to get your hopes up again, like it's very early, all of this. But I was holding it up and I went, that is a second line. In the back of your mind is like that disappointment of like, I don't know how to describe it. And any women, if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. But I was holding it and I just needed reassurance. Freya. I don't know why we did this. Yasmin did it as well. FaceTime Freya when she wasn't sure. I FaceTime Freya and I'm shaking the phone like this. She's like, can you hold it still? I'm like this. I'm like, Freya, this is positive, isn't it? This is positive. And she's like, hold it still, I can't see it. Like, send me a picture of it. Send me a picture of it. So I'm sending her a picture of it. And she's like, why don't you do a digital? I'm like, I don't have a great relationship with digitals. So I was like, oh no, there's no point doing a digital. It's definitely too early for one of them. But I'm like, can you see it, Freya? She's like, just hang up and then send me a picture and call me back. So I sent her this picture, I call her back, I'm like, is it positive? And she's like, do a digital. So I did a digital and I'm like, I know that that's going to come back negative. Like, it's way too early for that. But like, is that just like a, you know, you get line eye. I was like, is that line eye? Like all of this, like I'm going, I'm driving myself mad. She's like, I think I can see a second line. And then she's like, show me the digital, because it'd been going for ages. And I showed her, and as I showed her, it pinged up pregnant 1 to 2 weeks. That feeling, Freya had to watch me have a full-on breakdown of gratitude. I was screaming to God, like, thank you, like I am still like, when I think about God, just that moment where I'm just like, oh my God, like, and just like the relief and just the like, oh my God, it's happening. Freya's on bloody FaceTime, bless her, I'm just crying my eyes out. She didn't screen record though, the bitch, right? If I was on FaceTime to Yasmin would have screen recorded that moment. But I think it was almost more special that she didn't. We just got that moment as sisters. The hormones we will get onto, don't you worry. Yeah, so she hung up and then I filmed my reaction like to the digital. And I thought, oh my God, Lloyd's going to be home in like an hour and we've got a Christmas photo shoot coming up. So I quickly did my makeup and Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield was playing and it started to snow really. Guys. Oh my God, do you know what's so weird as well? Okay, I was just so excited to talk to you guys about this. On my TikTok, it told me your spiritual animal for pregnancy, look out for a ladybird, okay? And in my garden, the only thing Lloyd's kept from our Enchanted Forest party is a ladybird that's in the garden. Okay, the pillow on our bed has a ladybird on it. I was like, all right, like I'm deeping it here. But then Lloyd got a cauliflower from Waitrose, okay? When have you ever seen this?
Hey, there you go, baby. That was inside my cauliflower.
Oh my God.
How amazing is that?
I'm just saying on this video that like, I had a great first trimester. Lloyd may say otherwise. So when I'm talking about hormones, I need you to come and...
Okay.
So I was like, how shall I tell him? Like, I can't not tell Lloyd. Like, he is, like, hats off to you guys that can do a full 24 hours and like plan something nice. I couldn't. I got reusable party bag. Came home and I was like so on edge. I was like, how do I do this? So I was hiding this bag in here and I just said to him like, oh, can I give you a present? Something came for you, an early birthday present. So he stood in the kitchen, I went and gave that to him and he was just like, but he had that same kind of thing, like he didn't trust the digital. And then I showed him the first response and he was like, what? Like it's the most unbelievable feeling. Yeah, so we went for a photo shoot, our annual Christmas photo shoot, which, oh my God, our baby's going to be in next year. I can't believe it. And I was like, I have to tell Emily. Before I even told my own mother, I was like, I have to tell Emily. I have to do it. Because Emily's been with us through She was our wedding photographer. She was with me before I even met Lloyd. She's done like when we did a cookbook. She's done all like Callie and Ace's birthdays. Like she's done everything. So I thought this is like a milestone. This exact moment is when I said to her, right, everyone say Eden's pregnant. And she just looks up that photo on my Instagram and say Eden's pregnant.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my god, don't do that. Are you actually? Oh my god. Oh, I can't take a photo of this. I'm going to give you a hug.
So that was like so magical. And then straight after that, we went to mum and dad's and told mum and dad, and then came home, FaceTimed Jazz. Like, it's just like the most surreal. You're gonna have a little brother or sister. Yes. I hope that set the scene for you. We are into our first trimester. Now, I've always had a little bit of a fear of the first trimester because you hear lots of stories about everyday vomiting, feeling sick all the time, unbearable, just videos I'd always see of like people just saying how terrible it is, how they can't believe they survived it. So you're setting like it's quite a lot when you read stuff and see stuff. You're like, oh my goodness, I'm so scared. It's like you're just sat there waiting for like that day where everything like. Okay, I am here to tell you about my experience, and let me just firstly say I did not vomit once. So not everyone vomits. Oh my god, I have friends that I've spoken to, they had HG. I could never. Mothers with HG, you are amazing. Anyhow, I have two things that I'm going to be reading from today. So I have my notes app and then I have my pregnancy journal. I'm not going to show you inside my journal, but I will read like certain parts from it because it has like really special stuff in there. So let's go on to notes. So 4 weeks is where you're kind of like still no puffiness. You're just like stunning, and I will never be that person that's like, oh, just wait till this week, wait till this week. Like, I just think there's just no benefit to trying to prepare someone for being scared. I don't know. I know a lot of women are just maybe trying to advise you or prepare you in some kind of way, but me, I don't kind of agree with that kind of fear mongering of, oh, just you wait for this or just you wait for that, okay? I'm more of a just you wait till you hear that heartbeat, and just you wait till you discover brand new foods that you absolutely love, and just you wait for that little bubble that you and your partner are in, or that you're in with your baby. Yeah, that's how I work, and if you don't, that's absolutely fine. 4 weeks, I was tired. Not too tired though. My boobs were hurt. And I had bloating. The bloating is crazy. Can we just discuss the bloating? Because at 6 weeks, I was like, I'm showing. I can't hide this any longer. I'm literally showing. And then I went for a massive poo. Like the constipation of the bloating, wild. And yeah, I was like, I'm showing. Some people show out, it's twins. I was just like, that's it for me. I'm just going to have to announce because it's too obvious. And then I went for a poo and it went. I was like, oh. 4 and 5 weeks, I just really wanted like salty. My main obsession was sriracha with pickled onions. Pickled onions covered in sriracha. Still now I absolutely love it, but I did go off it. Yeah, pickled onions with sriracha was my main thing. I loved. Red Leicester cheese on buttery crackers. Oh, so good. And I also fell in love with milky drinks, like iced coffees. Because obviously I can't have my Red Bull now, so I'm like, where's the caffeine? You know, where am I getting this caffeine from? Iced milky dairy. I'm loving dairy. And I never used to love dairy because it didn't really agree with my tummy. This child in my tummy loves it. Can't get enough. Dairy all the time. So I literally have one iced coffee in the day and I savour it. Yeah, let's go for the first kind of symptoms. Sorry, I get so carried away. So we've spoken about tiredness. 4 to 6 weeks, I was just a bit fine. Like, this is what everyone's talking about. Do you know what I mean? I'm fine. I'm just really hungry. So hungry. And do not restrict yourself, okay? This is something I'm going to speak on briefly, but something that I really was afraid of, and now I'm not. Body dysmorphia in pregnancy, breathlessness as well. What the fuck, you can never catch your breath ever again, because it's the equivalent to running a marathon every day. You're literally growing a human and organs every single day, so of course you're going to need to eat more. But the body dysmorphia, let me catch my breath and have some water. I am really critical on my body and my image, and I recently lost loads of weight and I was kind of really happy with how I looked. Wasn't so great mentally. When I found out I was pregnant, I know that there's a lot of weight gain to come, which really scared me, because I was like, I'm so scared to have that big face again and to just look bigger again. And I've just had the greatest support system, and especially my mother, like, she's just made me feel so empowered, and she's like, this is the only time in your life where it's she calls it the ultimate surrender. That is not your body, that is your baby's home. You eat what your baby wants, you nourish your baby, and you spend those 9 months, like, you have years when the baby has been born to snap back or go back to how you want to look, but for these 9 months, you are home. That's what you are. I am my baby's home, and they are getting everything they need from me. So I am going to nourish my body. I'm not going to restrict myself, and I'm just going to fully let loose. I'm not afraid to eat. Any of my mamas out there, if you are worried about the weight gain or how you're going to look or everything, like, this is the ultimate surrender and the most beautiful, magical thing you will ever do in your life is carrying your first child or your rainbow child. Surrender. Allow it. It's such a minute time in your life compared to the years and years where you can exercise and do whatever you want, diet, whatever, that you will never have this time where you are becoming a home for the first time. Yeah, I've just completely surrendered to that idea. I still have thoughts every now and then, and look at my face, I'm like, oh, it's getting a little bit bigger, like, but that's fine. It's literally fine. There's so much water and blood in me, and I just think women are insane, like, amazing. The stuff that our body is going through. Oh my God, honestly. The 6-week mark I was really afraid of, because a lot of people are like, my nausea started then and I started vomiting every day since then. So I was really scared for the 6-week mark because of the sickness. I was just scared that I was going to wake up and throw up. And it just didn't happen. But nausea happened. Again, I'm being this like la-di-da, and then I'll be a bit more thing, but like, you know when you come off a roller coaster and you feel so sick? The way I think about that is, this is the best roller coaster and the scariest and the wildest that you will ever ride. So embrace it. And this is not for women with HG or like severe kind of nausea. Like, if it's severe, obviously go and see your GP. But for me, it was kind of manageable. Like, it was, don't get me wrong, it's just not nice to feel nauseous. Like, it's just like, what I was worried about is that I wouldn't be able to function like I saw many people go through. I was really nervous of that. I was really nervous that I couldn't, because Christmas was coming up, and I was like, oh, am I going to be able to go to Christmas? Am I going to be able to eat my Christmas dinner? My main concern. Am I going to be able to eat my Christmas dinner? I could. For me, again, people say it's not morning sickness, it's all day sickness. It was called morning sickness because a man once woke up, saw his wife feeling sick, and then went to work. So for him, he only saw her in the morning. But, yeah, it's definitely not morning. But for me, it got worse at night, which is weird. But luckily, I was going to sleep, so it was okay. It was manageable, but it was also like not nice. You know, I'd lie in bed with Lloyd like, oh. But then, like, it's also a reminder that everything that's meant to be happening is happening. I never got to the stage of vomiting. I got retchy, like the idea of steak, or if I saw a dog poo in the garden. It just would really retch me, but not to the point of vomiting. I don't know. But I was speaking to my friend about this yesterday. Is my other aversions was supermarkets and Zoella's Vlogmas. Okay, anyone with emetophobia, you'll know what I mean when I say this, okay? You know when you can't wear the same top that you had a stomach bug in ever again? When I started to feel most nauseous was when Zoella started her Vlogmas. So I was watching them, and then like I felt nauseous for the first few, and then I just couldn't watch them for the next like 2 weeks. I was like, I can't watch these, they make me feel sick. There was nothing that was happening in them. Luckily I got to catch up because she's my favourite person on YouTube. I was like, I can't not watch Zoella. It was really weird. Every time I turned on their Vlogmas, the intro, The sounds just made me feel really sick. I know it sounds so crazy now. And supermarkets, the lighting, the sound, the temperature, especially if it was cold, the loudness, yeah, just everything about supermarkets made me feel really sicky too. But not to the point of vomit, just to the point of, the only way I can describe it is like travel sickness. And what helped me, and is really weird, is when you start to feel really, really sick, and it's not a sick where it's like hunger sick, you'll be able to differentiate. The hunger pangs are crazy. You'll never eat crackers faster than when you get those hunger pangs. But the nausea would help if I ate. So you have this nausea where you feel so full, you're like, oh, I couldn't eat a thing. And then you eat and it subsides for a bit. You're like, oh, I was just hungry. I was like, oh, she's back. Like, it's just, for me, it was very manageable. And that was something I was so afraid of. I had gingins, which were like these ginger sweets I'd suck constantly. Ginger tea. I went through a phase where I could only eat really buttery pasta with ketchup or like tomato pasta. Oh my god, I could eat that so much right now. The nausea was not my main concern, and it was before I fell pregnant, but my main concern was the cramping, which I did not know was a thing. I didn't know that you cramped. I thought there may be subtle cramping. Always call a GP or 111 if you're really concerned with the cramping. Yeah, they do tell you, like, if there's no blood or nothing to worry about, then you should be okay. It's very normal, it's your uterus stretching. But the fear you feel when you're cramping is like no other. Because I had the subtle ones, and then I had towards like 6, 7, 8 weeks, big cramps. Like, oh my god, like I thought I'm gonna sit on the toilet and blood's gonna come. I was like, I was preparing myself for it. And Christmas Eve, I was in Canterbury with my family, and there's a slight clip where you can kind of see where I was in this Japanese restaurant and I'd just been crying my eyes out. And on the way home, like, I was screaming in fear rather than pain. Like, I have bad period pains as it is, but that cramping just, it was kind of like horrific to me, because I was like, is something wrong? I was like, I can't do this. Like, every time I was feeling it was so strong. And then I just read loads of other people's stories and they were like, yeah, it happens. And I haven't cramped since. I've had scans, I've had stuff, and they were like, yeah, everything's good. Like, but that, no one speaks enough about the cramping. What's my hair doing? And it is normal to an extent, of course. Again, always speak to your GP if you are concerned. I had to get in the bath when I got home and I was like on all fours, like, oh my goodness. Like, luckily it subsided. And it just stops. It just stopped. I was like, oh, all right, well, that was traumatic. An hour it lasted for. What I thought it was is because I hadn't been walking a lot, and I googled, like, I also hadn't drunk water that day. Okay, so please do not at me. But yeah, it said, like, often the cramping will get worse if you're dehydrated or you're kind of excessively exercising. So for my body, walking around a town is excessively exercising. We had a private scan at 8 weeks and at 10 weeks, because especially since knowing from 3 weeks, I was like, I can't wait till 12. Well, mine was actually 13 weeks, 13 and a half weeks at the NHS. So I was like, I can't wait that long. I want to see this baby. I want to make sure everything's okay. I want to make sure maybe there's just one, or maybe see how many there are. We travelled so far. We had a scan and it was just beautiful and magical. We have a video of it. It was just really, really, really nice to see it. Obviously it looks like a little bean. I nap in the day a lot as well, so I'm just like, the fatigue and everything, like, of course, because it's making this. But yeah, after 8 weeks, I was feeling a bit more okay, like not so nauseous all the time. I was craving stuff again. That kind of like 6 to 8 weeks was kind of like where I really averted kind of foods and stuff, whereas 8 weeks I started to really love it again. And the thing this baby loves, oh my goodness, and I cannot wait to go and get one together when they're old enough, a quarter pounder with cheese and pickles. I need that now. I need that right now. Salty fries, and this is why I think it's a boy. As of now, and when you're seeing this video, I will know what I am having, but I really think a boy. I will be so shocked if this is a girl. Just going from old wives' tales. Let's see what I said in my first trimester kind of vibes. My first aversion was cups of tea. I do like cups of tea, again, decaf of course. The first baby gift you've received is muslins from my mum. Yeah, so for Christmas my mum got me like muslin sleep suits. Like, it was just so surreal. A pregnancy pillow. I was like, I've been having to hide it in videos constantly. Also, we had this up at Christmas that my friend Lisa got us, and you guys never saw on the tree. But it says, "Merry Christmas, Mummy and Daddy. See you in 2025. It's just so exciting to share this with you now. Okay, so this is the first trimester. I just got this on Amazon. It's really fab, and I just fill it in constantly. I sometimes feel sick, but eating helps. I'm very tired and don't have a lot of motivation. I've just been relaxing. Motivation, goodbye. Where are you? Who are you? I say, it says ways my bodies have changed. My boobs have grown a lot. My boobs are huge. Every time I get in the shower, I'm like, so this is how people feel with boobs. It's fab. Honestly, it's really fab. It's like I have the most magical secret inside me. I'm never alone anymore. We go everywhere together. Time seems to be going so slow, but I also know I should embrace it all. I'm reading this.
Oh, you baby.
He's coming at the perfect time. I'm about to talk about hormones. I just want to meet you, but I know right now you're in the safest place you'll ever be. Right, we've gotten rid of our table, so now this is how we're gonna have to resort. It's cool that I can get your perspective as well, because it has been wild. Getting like pretty deep. I had times where I was like, do I have depression? Because I was like, I'd come into this room at least once a week and just break down.
Like, it's about messy it was.
Come into this room once a week and just like cry my eyes out, an endless crying. I wasn't sad. I don't know what I was feeling. I was just like, I felt, the way I've been saying it is I felt really lonely. I have like such amazing people around me. But for the mother, it's like 24/7 inside your body. You're feeling this all the time. Whereas people can just chime in and out like, how are you feeling? You know, it's just like, oh, I'm feeling like this.
Wait till this.
Yeah, oh God, I'm speaking about that, the just waits. You can't just check in on yourself quickly and be like, how you doing? Well, I'll check in again in 2 weeks. You know, like, you're going through it all the time.
First of all, do not underestimate just how much they are going through, okay? Because it looks like absolutely nothing from the exterior. You couldn't tell. But believe me, the majority of the work, of the really big stuff is getting done in the very first trimester. So just try and be as supportive as you can.
So weird, isn't it? Like, this is the time where you need the most support.
And it looks like the least.
Because you haven't got a big bump. People aren't like, oh, can I help you? You know, but this is the time where...
Yeah, it's fucking tough. And you just got to support your missus, and also just take what they say with a pinch of salt. The snappiness is actually fucking commendable.
I'm not an angry person, okay? I'm not like, when have I ever shouted at you in our relationship? Pregnancy will have you wanting to like smash a wooden plank over their head.
Eating, right? Don't eat too close to them. Don't smell. My favourite aftershave, right, that I have, I was shouted at to not wear it anymore because I wore it and it angered my wife so much that it made her feel sick.
So you smell like a fucking grandma.
Yeah, and didn't want me in the car, made me open the window. And if you got to make them dinner, you got to make it quick because they might not want that in the next 10 minutes, and it might be something.
I love that you know these things.
So yeah, take that in.
Has, I'd say, peaked for now, and I'm much more myself.
Yeah, let's get it straight. You've not been like some absolute nutter.
No, but I've had like...
I would say, out of the whole of the first trimester, a percentage-wise of increased hormones and me noticing it, I would say 10 to 15%. But at those moments, it seemed really intense, and it's not. And also, like, one night, Eden went to bed holding the dog, sobbing her heart out, and I mean, as if the dog had been put down or something, right? Because the other dogs wouldn't play with him.
No, please, because it'll get me again.
So we had sex once and Eden burst into tears and said she'd never felt so close. But I'm here for it.
I just said, like, that felt so amazing. I just burst into tears. It was like, I can't. In the first kind of few weeks, you couldn't think of, like, I couldn't think of touching you or being that kind of way inclined. I had no libido, but it wasn't like a noticeable thing. It was just like we both were just tired and like that kind of thing. But as you kind of come out, it's just like, wow, like this is amazing.
Don't ever question how much your wife is eating, okay? Just don't question anything. If they're still hungry, they're still hungry. And if they ask if you're hungry, you're hungry too, okay? Even if you're not, you just force that shit down.
You with the tuna pasta last night. It was like that.
So the hungry, don't ever question your wife or your missus or your partner or whatever, because it's extremely damaging to a woman, like, being made to feel like they're eating too much or overeating or something like that. And it's just none of your fucking business, okay? So,
and if I say to you, like, oh, I don't know why I'm still really hungry. He's just said, you're growing a baby.
Yeah, 'cause you're pregnant.
You're hungry. What can I make you? Like,
anything, at any time, every 4 hours, you better be in the kitchen.
2:30 a.m. you were making me Marmite eggs with Marmite toast with eggs on. I love it.
Delicious.
Boiled eggs. I'd have them
You know, loads of picky bits. You want stuff that you can have in the fridge.
quick, like cheese strings. I was living off cheese strings, Baby Bells.
Sour stuff, sweet stuff, spicy
Pickles.
stuff, salty stuff. Just have those 4 things that you can get, and you can be sweet. Yeah. I was eating something on the sofa, and I was fucking getting into it, and I could feel Eden's eyes burning into the side of my head, and I was just like, how much longer are you going to eat?
I don't really like the sound of eating anyway. It never really annoys me with you though, because I love you so much, and I'm usually eating at the same time, the same crunch. But I think where you have so many hormones and your life is so changing constantly, you think, are you joking? Like, it's that kind of like, there's been so many amazing parts as well.
Yeah, there's loads of amazing stuff, but I
haven't spoken about our NHS scan yet. And things have changed as well. Like, if we try and walk the dogs, I couldn't get even a quarter of the walk in the first trimester. The breathlessness.
Yeah, a lot of that.
You're creating, like, please give yourself grace. Like, you're creating organs, you're creating a body, you're creating a system. You are a home for a child. Now, I can make it the whole way around the field.
Yeah.
And I love it, and we just have
to turn around, didn't you, babe?
Yeah, I had to turn around. I was like, I'm so breathless. Like, I'm still breathless now, but I think I just chat too much. This guy has, without you, and you, she's very excited too, little child. Couldn't ask for a better dad for our child already.
We did it all together, baby.
Like, you've just exceeded my expectations. It almost makes me excited to be deliriously tired with you one day. I can't wait. I found a new love for lemonade, because I watched Zoella's first trimester and she said about Sprite, and I wasn't pregnant when I watched it. But yeah, Sprite is delicious. I'm not a huge fan of Coke Zero anymore. Sprite is amazing. And water. I never went off water. I never went off my Pregnacare, although it did make me feel sick in the evenings. Next thing, we had our NHS scan, which is like the scan, you know, like, That was amazing. As I said, we've had our 8, we've had our 10, so we've seen the little potato and the little jelly bean. This time, she put that screen on.
I burst into tears. I'll never forget that, ever.
I know, and we just saw these legs and these arms and this tummy and its head, and
I'm honestly positive it waved at us.
Yeah.
Like
They've always got their hand, every time we've seen them, they have their hand right by their face. I wonder if they're going to be a thumbsucker like me.
Definitely.
Probably. Yeah, that was such an amazing thing. They didn't play us the heartbeat though, so that's another little Mandela effect, I think, that everyone says, well, some people obviously do get played it, but we didn't get played the heartbeat. But we got to see everything. Everything was very good. We got to see the heartbeat. Everything was as it should be. We've got little pictures, which I'm sure you have seen in our announcement over on TikTok and Instagram. Next one is going to be our gender scan, so then we will see...
When's that, in 12 days?
10 days.
10 days.
I was saying when they watch this, we'll know what it is, but in this video we don't. So he thinks... I've said I think boy.
I do think it's a boy, but normally when I'm so sure of something, it says the opposite of what I've been
story
saying.
Of my life. But anyway, guys, that is it from us. That is the first trimester. I know it is so annoying when people say this to you, but embrace it as much as you can, and it does get better. Do not ever be afraid to reach out for help for your mental well-being in this time, your physical well-being, to a GP if the nausea is too much, if you're worried about cramping, because I was. yeah, do not ever be afraid to reach out for help. And if you have any questions about anything, then I'll try to get back to some in the comments.
Roll on the second trimester.
Roll on the second trimester, because it does get better, guys. If you are there in your slump of wretchiness and can't hold your eyes open in the afternoon, I feel you, and you got this. And I love you. And I'll see you on the next one.